Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2 Awakening, where, as you can see, we are now generating just enough positive diplomatic pressure on the Sophons from border friction with 3 people on Kairos, that we are overwhelming the score difference modifier, and we might, you know, at some distant point, be able to overwhelm them enough to get some demands going. Honestly, the most important thing to me isn't the growth of this value, but rather the growth of our influence zone out toward Mira. That's going to put some real pressure on them, especially as we continue up the tech tree and get better at, or gain the ability to peacefully convert systems. Peacefully converting someone's home system is an awfully big deal. We're generating lots of influence everywhere else. To be perfectly honest with you, I feel like we've sort of got the feet of our empire underneath us. This start has been a little slower, not as explosive as some of the other ones, owing mostly to the fact that we have no food on our population, and also we didn't really have a situation where we had the ability to build powerful food buildings. You know, our planets were fine, like fine food output per person, but we were not really able to generate the big food surpluses that lead to your home system filling up completely by turn 60 and stuff. But now we have our basic economic base. We have good influence income that we're able to use to buy stuff out. We're going to finish applied cryogenics in 2 turns. We're just going to let that complete normally, and then I think we're probably going to bank. I think at this point we have enough, and we have enough stuff built that it's reasonable for us to bank a lot of our influence over the next couple of turns and try to rush commercial framework stuff, the trade routes. We are unfortunately going to have to deal with these pirate bases before we're able to actually run trade, because obviously the pirates are going to blockade everything and just ruin our day. But that's what the applied cryogenics is for. So with that, I think let's get into it. We still need new colony rule for a little while. I think I don't want to run the Mineral Misers Act. 56 influence per turn. Oh, maybe I do. I'm a little leery of reducing our influence income, obviously, but this may well be worth it. Yeah, I like the extra industry. That took a turn off of the embassy, and yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We're getting value out of that in a couple of really important places. Okay, and now that we have a reasonable influence income, so it's not like cutting our income in half, I definitely feel a lot better about it. All right, down on Veni, we are merely happy, and we're gonna get 25 approval in, like, how many turns? What are we looking at here? 8 turns, but that's without considering food incomes. There's a ship departing from certain next turn. It carries enough food to knock a single turn off the timer. So I don't know, 6 turns maybe? We might get 2 ship launches in that time. And then we'll have that bonus for 5 turns. We really do just need the supermarket here, I think. We're also going to need to cope with the fact that we're going to be losing approval as we expand out along these planets. Well, actually, Veni is approval neutral, because the deciduous trees plus the dust ruins handle that. Yeah, I guess let's get our infinite supermarkets out here. That's worth having. We could probably fiddle with that system a little bit and get them up to 85% with a little bit of effort. Sarta is producing influence quickly enough that we're headed toward that solar nebula, which is nice. We might actually get to steal this solar nebula. I'm not 100% sure whether we'll grow quickly enough. Just make sure. Plus 1.4. We're growing a little faster than they are. Alright. The recent switch to industrialist politics. What switch? Inserta. So we haven't talked about this a lot, but each system does have their own preferred political sensitivity, which is based obviously on the population and also different events and stuff. So it's not so much that CERT switched to industrialist as that it became industrialist from nothing. But that's good enough for this event to be able to trigger. Chief among the dissidents is a radical splinter group who have begun raiding shipping lanes to disrupt economic activity. The governor has imprisoned the worst of the offenders and plans to deactivate several established, historically significant space stations to build a network of newer, cheaper, secure waypoint systems for intra-system travel. People have voted against his proposal, citing historical and cultural value, and then the decision falls to me because we're not really running a democracy here. We do have an emperor. So does Cert want approval? How badly does Cert need approval? Ooh, plus 10 approval on this system is actually very significant. I don't mind losing 20 dust per turn, that's not a big deal. And in fact, we would push the religious political ideology up a little bit, which is not ideal this close to the election. Do we have any idea what our polling looks like right now? Okay, the religious party is looking pretty soft. Probably this is not going to be enough to get anybody elected. And I want that approval. That's a good amount of approval. Hey, Gistrad, maybe just stop producing pirates for a minute here. Let's keep holding them down. Now we could run hacks from like Orm out to Mira. What does that look like? Now that Orm is a proper colony. 8 turns, and the trace back would be tricky for them. I'm gonna try that, I think. Let's see if we can pull that off. We'll definitely run an accelerator. It does not make sense for us to do piggyback because we have few enough programs running that the 15 bandwidth we pay for piggyback is going to be more than what we save from the bandwidth reduction. Plus 10% bandwidth cost for all enemy programs on this system while your hack is ongoing. So you could use this to potentially force some stuff to be cancelled. Maybe like overload their bandwidth. I mean, that's why it's called overload. That seems fine. Unfortunately, since we have no idea what their bandwidth expenditures look like, and as far as I know, there's no way to find out, it's really hard to know if this will have any effect at all. We can afford it, although it is the case that I can afford it right now. Maybe, okay, we could probably afford to cancel the defensive program here. What I'm thinking is that we should put up a defensive program on Orm. So let's also throw the overload in there. We'll see if it actually we won't. I was gonna say we'll see if it has any effect. We won't see if it has any effect, but maybe it will have an effect. And then we could also run just the classic encrypt defense here, which does make it much more likely we'll get tracebacks. We haven't been hacked all that much the last game or two. Yeah, let's put up an encrypt. We could go interrogate instead to try to prevent the enemy from installing accelerates and stuff on us, but I'm not convinced that that's actually a better defense. Alright, and then here 8 turns until the next citizen is born. Could go for the crop seeding. The optics research lab is totally fine here. Let's go ahead and go for the crop seeding. We'll give a little push here. It's only 8 food, but it'll matter. Small amounts of food do end up mattering. In that case, the tier 1, the food building that comes from the tier 1 food research is actually better on Orm than either of the ones we have access to, and cheaper too. But there's just not much we could do about it. We could, I suppose, start building a battleship. Actually, yeah, maybe it's a good idea to start building a battleship since we now have the ability to do that. Let's go have a look at that design. A couple of battleships should make real short work of the pirate bases around us. So we have pretty much just the most basic modules available, right? We could install slightly better engines if we wanted to. These ships only have 5 move, so going like... that's pretty damn fast. Pirate vessels, all the pirate vessels we've seen so far have been bullet vessels, so it would seem to be foolish to run ion torpedoes against them, when the high eye slugs do almost as much damage and don't get blown up by their weapons. Yeah, it's a real basic-ass boring design, but I think it's the right... boring design. I suppose maybe the smart move is to run the lasers instead of the bullet weapons to take advantage of being able to start battles at a longer range. The DPS is so much worse, though. Yeah, we're just gonna do some real basic brute force here. Alright, so is that still 4 turns? No. Added a 5th turn to the build. It's fine. We'll be fine. Nusicon probably should not get into the spaceship building business because it has a lot of other stuff that it could be doing. A lot of real basics yet to build here. The supermarket would be pretty good. This is also pretty good. We're not that far off of being able to just buy commercial frameworks, actually. Do we want to start building ships on Nakar as well? I know I've been delaying this research lab forever, but the thing is, we really do need these ships. So each one of these ships carries 300 manpower. I reckon we probably want 600 manpower for to destroy the pirate bases. So maybe I'm just building one ship on Nakar and it can go and join the ship on Orm. Maybe that's how we do it. Yeah, we probably don't need to rush to having 3. 2 should be sufficient. And then everybody else can keep working on their own internal stuff. Get those commercial frameworks, get me some trade companies. Like a trade company that runs from the capital to Surt is running through a lot of nodes that have resources. It's a fair distance. It's not actually bad. Also, we should definitely take over Nos the moment we have the ability to do so, because there's antimatter in them Dar Hills. And we've been offered our first free hero, which I'm just overjoyed about. Boy. It's tough for me to say we want to take minus 15 industry on our colonies at this moment, but minus 10 approval everywhere also does really hurt us. This is a rough moment for this event to come up. So let's have a look at... Yeah, look at minus 15... industry on all of our colonies is actually like a really big deal. We are not super high industry, and we're trying not to spend a lot of influence on buying buildings right at this moment. I think we have to take the approval loss, which affects all of our non-industry resources. Will it be enough to drop us? It would. It would be enough to drop us an Empire approval level, which is not acceptable. Yeah. As much as it hurts to lose the industry, really looking at this, especially thinking about what it's going to do to our influence, I don't think we can take that. Because it would drop Orm to Content, it would drop Surt back to Happy, it would drop Veni... No, Veni would still be happy. 71% is still happy. I know, I'm going back and forth on this. Now I'm thinking we're going to take the approval loss again. It is going to hurt Empire-wide approval. Just enough to drop us back down out of devoted, but we're going to get the approval boost from Gonos at some point, and it's 10 turns? Yeah. I'm gonna take the ignore here. I'm not happy about either of them, though. That was a legitimately difficult moment. A bad moment for that choice to become available. Okay, you guys need to just get some basics going here. No, that doesn't make any sense. This would be fine. But we should build food. 30 food plus 10% food. That seems alright. That seems like a fine way to go. Alright, what have we been offered? All Imperials, 2 Overseers and a Guardian, and all of parties that don't yet have a Senator. Well... obviously, Guardians. I'm a big fan of Overseers as governors, so I think we're probably not taking the Guardian. I just don't think we need a ship commander all that badly. So the question is, do we want to take Dominic of the Militarist Party or Ima of the Ecologist Party? It still would be cool to get the Ecologists a seat in the Senate. We also could reform our government. It might be a good idea to switch over to democracy with the 3-party representation. I think I'm going to take her. I think I would rather have an ecologist. And there's no other difference between them. So... She, of course, has Rousing Orator as an Imperial, but as an Overseer, she has Farming Logistics, which seems to me like a thing that we could use a little bit more. So where are we going to put her? I would like to put her in a place where there are fertile... where we are on fertile worlds. We have a fertile world here. Honestly, Sirta is not a bad call. And it could use the push, since it's sort of like the distant front of our empire. Wow, that's a lot of ships. It's a lot of small ships. Oh, there's a medium in there. I'm a little curious about what the Vultures think they're up to. I'm glad we got our medium ship design, because I'm starting to think we're going to need it in the very near future. Yeah, Sirta could use a governor. It needs to get online. And that means I totally am, with her, going to take both points in this. That's 40 food from that skill. That's a pretty big deal. That's going to help the system a lot. Sadly, it does not even have a second fertile planet, but this'll do for now. That system's going to get real productive real fast. And here... that doesn't quite get us to 75. This would just get us to 83, which is not even... yeah. I don't know exactly how we're going to get this system over the top, but we're going to. This is probably not worth building, though. Epigenetic crop seeding is also quite a bit of food, and the science output here is not spectacular. Remarkably, nobody has built the Endless Research Park. I just kind of assumed we wouldn't have access to this based on how slow our start was, but I really am overestimating the degree to which the AI likes these, I guess. Build me some crop seeding. Let's get more food going, because there's a lot of space in that system that will have to be filled. And out of curiosity... ooh, look at all that. Border friction's getting intense.
Speak.
Can we take your temperature on peace? Is the bar going to be off the side of the screen? No, it looks like her feelings on peace haven't really changed that much. I'm definitely worried about where this is going. She could just be going to fight pirates. You know, one thing we should keep an eye on is the situation between her and the Sophons, because they could potentially come to blows, right? We know they have some border friction going on. He's doing to her the same thing that we're doing to him with the unique planet near the home system. If she comes at us... what's the buyout on one of these mediums? Like a fresh one? Fresh one's 1.5? Okay. If she comes at us, we could suddenly have a defense. We could decide that we want to have a defense that badly. It wouldn't be great. She still has a massively superior number of ships, but, you know, it takes a while to generate a planet-killing force. Huh. Okay, so that was just a weird animation. Did you see the ship? It looked like this food ship came to Sirta from Ganos and then turned around, but I think that was just it spawning and then heading out. Just looked weird. What do you think? Is it worth asking her to vacate my my areas of influence? You know what? If all she's doing is killing the pirates on Nos, we actually want her to. So I'm not going to interfere with her for the moment. Let's see what she chooses to spend her time doing here. Also... oh, did I move that amoeba to Veni? Where did I did send the amoeba out. I don't see the population ship in the air. Oh, I sent it to Sirta. That's right, that's right. Sirta has population space. So it's looking like a Herosham is going to be born next, which is also fine. Heroshams are plus food. If I move this Herosham over to Nakar 4... okay, we maintain ecstatic. So it's generating 3 extra food there. But it's generating 6 extra food by being on the planet that's actually got food on it. Never mind, that's fine. Now let's see what these Vulture ships do. Do they just move on? No matter what her play is, it's not right to hang out at Sirta, right? If she was going to attack me, she should have launched the attack the turn she arrived. If she's going to attack the pirates, she should be moving right now.
We are Riftborn. We come into your cosmos on a mission of survival.
Where did we see that ship? We saw a Riftborn ship or probe up here somewhere. I wonder what that means. I mean, it's turned 59. There's been a lot of time for people to move away from their home areas. So who knows? That could have been... Their home system could be on the other side of the galaxy, for all we know. Okay, definitely do that, and then... We're growing slowly here. Epigenetic crop seeding and intensive cultivation logistics are both pretty bad. This isn't going to get us anywhere near another level, another threshold. You know, why don't we grab Trader's Reach 1? Because that'll empower the basic buildings. Having a second planet that is also temperate will be pretty nice for that purpose. And yep, they're headed either toward the pirates or toward the rest of my empire. For now, I choose to believe that they just want to do the decent thing and help me fight pirates. Although, they're clearing Nos not for me, but because they want Nos. They're just not going to get it, is all. And hey, look at that. We created a ship with an offensive power of somewhat higher than 142. What is the actual offensive power of this ship? 688. You know, just a little bit. There's that Riftborn vessel. Yeah, the Riftborn are fast, and they're definitely motivated to explore. We have no idea where that ship might have come from. People were happy to hear Kadri named Emperor-elect. He will need to play, he will need to play a larger role in events now. I forgot that we were already getting a militarist guardian. This makes our other decisions about which hero to pick absolutely correct, because this role is dealt with now. The trail runs cold. Ulinka rots in the cells, silent. Nobody knows anything about the ancient rebellion. Or nothing they're prepared to admit, at least. The knowledge eats away at you, day after day after day. You torture yourself, knowing how many countless thousands of patriots it must have taken to enact such a betrayal. Hidden shipyards, Empire funds, siphoned off official accounts, redacted records, double lives. Some of the snakes must still be among the masses here on Raya, lying over and over to preserve their skins. Will you need to search every lead yourself to know the truth? Who can be trusted? You try to put the matter out of your mind, and instead think of the millions of true patriots. Now the matter of Emperor-elect has been settled, it is time to turn your attention to their futures, and your legacy. What course should the great United Empire be set on before your rule ends? Should you heed the warnings of the warmongers in your ranks, epitomized by the Sheridan name, and militarize? Or should you hark back to an earlier age of scientific invention, when your Mizari forebears sailed the Great Darkness? Or, perhaps, you should stay this course, let the United Empire fulfill its true potential as an industrial powerhouse. This may not necessarily be your final legacy, but you should give your empire a taste of the future nonetheless. So, we can work our way toward being the Sheridan, becoming a more warlike empire, win 5 battles to unlock this pretty good laser weapon. Actually, 36 DPS with a 20% crit chance is pretty damn good. We can maintain the values of the United Empire by building our systems up to level 2, which is like completely trivial, and we will get to the Sci-Fi Design School, which is a great building. Or we can try to become more like the Mizari, possess planets of every climate type except gas, in order to unlock the Who's Yuri entertainment program, plus 5 science per citizen for each planet with anomalies. That's pretty powerful. Obviously, the United Empire and Mizari options here are both really strong. The Mizari one's a little bit harder to unlock, but we're talking about trying to push harder on science here, right? Like, we're establishing our economic base, and then we're moving towards science. We gotta maybe make some of this happen. I'm gonna go this way. We're gonna lean Mizari. The ancient Mizari clan sailed the stars by understanding the great beyond. As your empire spreads through the galaxy, you should do the same. Studying the full range of worlds would be a good start. So hot, cold, and temperate climate-type planets must be possessed. I believe we already have that. I was thinking every world type when I was saying this is going to be a little tricky. I think we already have temperate, a cold, and a hot. Right, because Nakar Nakar 1 is hot, and then we have temperate here, and we certainly have cold worlds. Right, we have a... Well, actually, Kairos is cold. Yeah, so we're good. That'll just complete at the end, at the beginning of next turn. Alright, that's come to an end. Also, our scientists have detected that heavily damaged ship of unknown origin. Well, we're going to get a unique technology either way. So 272 in industry and 83 food, and 133 science. When we finish our optics research lab, we're going to get 133 science. So actually, save the core is like completely trivial to pick up. Alright, we're going to create the special tools and machines necessary to attract the core. Here's the thing. These people, these sleeping people out in space around our... Oh, we don't actually have Nakar 1. See, the... This here is represented in kind of a non-intuitive way for me. This is planet 1 in the system. However, so it counts from left to right. But when you're in the system view, it counts the planets from right to left. I really wish that they would swap one of those. They should be the same direction. So actually, do we have any hot worlds? Yes, we have Veni 4 as a hot world. Veni 4 and Veni 5 are both hot. Okay. So we have a new hero. Let's talk about our new hero in a minute here after we assign some stuff. The Optics Research Lab is not itself great. I think let's get the Miners Union set up. Not so much because we need the Titanium and Hyperium, but because we are going to want faster Adamantian mining once we have the Adamantian tech. And then down here, we still have some real basic stuff to pick up yet. Let's start with Cerebral Reality, and then, honestly, we probably want to grab Nusicon too, right? We're getting close to the colonization threshold over here. Alright, let's talk about this new hero. Kadri Lenko, level 5, is a Guardian, so of course makes a pretty great shooting man, but we might want to have him be a governor temporarily. We are about to have... Ooh, he has plus siege damage on fleet. I don't know that I've seen that before. No, I don't think he used to have that trait. And the United Empire part of the thing does have some reasonable fleet skills. Yeah, like this is pretty good. That the radar dish there is command points. It's the the logistical measurement of how many ships get to be in the fleet. So that gets to be a pretty huge value eventually. But this first tier we could probably afford to take mostly skills that are focused on governing. Have him be a governor somewhere for a little while. So where makes sense? Orm would not be a bad place. Honestly. It's about to finish a battleship, which will be a fair amount of XP. There's 4 points of population here. I'm gonna have him come down here. So, skill points. Let's go. Efficiency Aficionado is not amazing. There's no hot planets in that system, so it would just be 10 points of industry. And I think I would rather have 4 food, 4 industry than 10 industry in that system in particular, where we're like desperate to grow the food. Or sorry, it's 8 food, 8 industry, right? I was comparing the 2 skill point version of one of these skills to the 1 skill point version of the other. Alright, and then at this point we might start taking fleet skills and building him up from there, but he can certainly govern effectively for a little while. And that system needed to be producing more influence, right? You can never have enough. Okay, so I think we're doing basically the right stuff here. You have the option of telling the Riftborn to buzz off, but I don't really think that there's a good reason to do that. How are we doing on Constellation Control? We would need to have 1 more system control to wrest it away from the Vultures. That's absolutely doable. And then down here on Carina... Ooh, wow. 0 of 8. So the Sophons have 7 systems on Carina. They might be a valuable ally. Oh, and we should probably... Well, I want to finish this. So there's no sense in buying out commercial frameworks before we're actually ready to start building the trade company, right? And we definitely do want to finish the research lab. But actually, we could buy out both of them. And then just start building the trade company HQ right there. Okay, I like that play. And with that, I kind of think we should start grabbing more science stuff. Obviously, the Graviton Shielded Laboratory is a wonderful, wonderful building. So let's grab that. Let's start our science push in earnest. Like I was saying, we've got our Empire's legs underneath us. I think we can handle building stuff. We can handle growing. Now we are just all about pushing forward into the future. Gotta get that foundation established. We don't quite have enough influence to cheat the election, which I maybe should have thought about. It doesn't matter too terribly much, because I suspect we're going to end up industrialist pacifists here no matter what. The ecologists are actually coming through, though. Okay, I like that. Green fertility bill might actually be worth running. Fleet fortitude is great. Not necessary at the moment, but it's a nice thing to have in your back pocket. So I'm going to send a probe down toward Nos here. I want to see exactly how they're doing in the siege. You can tell from the circle there that that is where the Vulture Fleet is, but I want to get an idea of the numbers. Somebody else completed 10 quests before we could. And hey, look at that. We did it. With footholds in many different worlds, your Empire's understanding of the galaxy has never been greater. Better yet, your population is ripe for embracing development that is in harmony with scientific thinking. The Empire grows, a picture of its end state slowly emerging. It will be glorious, there is no doubt of that. What troubles you, though, is whose glory will it be? The betrayer is still at large. Yolinka is still silent, despite being encouraged to speak. Now your empire spans light years rather than light minutes. The scope for uprising seems greater than ever. You fret, pace the palace, demand updates from distant fleets night and day. The people are happy, though, are they not? They live in an era of unrivaled prosperity, do they not? And those that have joined the Empire, have they not come to understand that their old ways were inefficient, backwards, and ultimately leading them to destruction? Oh, who are you kidding? Revolt is always on your mind. You obsess about a distant system turning against Raya. The idea of Kadri Lenko as Emperor-elect gains more support with each passing season, but you will have no true peace until the betrayer is uncovered, caught, and neutralized. Harness the mood of the Empire, Kadri Lenko counsels, and cement your power. What do you mean? I mean, impose your will by enacting more laws. You give a puzzled look. Kadri Lenko continues, Men are strange creatures. They will rail against spoken words, but give those same words permanence in writing, and they will obey to their dying breath. Never forget the power of the rule of law, your Imperial Majesty. Kadri Lenko is right. You can tighten your control of the Empire by strengthening its laws. A period of enlightenment illuminates the darkness. Now you should strengthen your scientific laws. Okay, so, non-trivial. That's going to be a little bit of an issue for us. And we have a thing happening on Veni. So what is Veni's current approval level? 64. A gain of 30 approval would be pretty cool. And it doesn't really hurt us to lose industry here, right? This system's not producing anything terribly important. I think we can afford to take this option. Yeah, the system's not doing anything terribly important. Okay, so we also definitely want to get this done, and in fact, that can be prioritized over the Miners' Union, right? Nakar should finish the trade company before we even think about anything else. Down here on Trader's Reach, we do have a planet... Ooh, actually, we should move everybody to Trader's Reach 1. So we have a planet that has an anomaly, and it's a really good anomaly. So everybody's over there anyway, so this is pretty solid here. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of... It's going to be a lot of science in a lot of places. Here we have no anomalies. On Orm we have no anomalies. We do have a battleship that needs to get launched. And on Sart, the one planet that we're living on has anomalies, so let's go ahead and throw Who's Yuri in there. I will complete the food, though, first. Alright, so the battleships can meet up over there. The Battle of Gistrad should be quick and decisive. And then we'll see about the other pirate base. It's going to be slightly complicated with the Vulture Fleet orbiting it. I think an optics research lab makes a lot of sense here. Honestly, if we're going to go for this, this is probably not the place to do it in. What's the industry output of Certa look like? Yeah, we don't really have any industry planets, so the output right now is fine, but it's not going to get any better. It's a tough thing to build when you don't really have a lot of hot worlds. We could build it back in the home cluster, but obviously, like, I would love for the extra influence growth to go somewhere else. Yeah, oh well. I think we're probably not going to rush the Trade Company HQ. I'm going to bank influence, and then we're going to rush the subsidiary instead. This system is merely happy. We could probably fix that. So let's see. You guys should all be on the fertile world. You lot, it sort of doesn't matter where you go. It's trying to reduce the overpopulation stress. Okay, we got to 75. That's not really all that different. I guess, as long as we're maintaining happiness, it really is better to have people on Raya. Is this, but then that, okay. Yeah, people just don't want to live on Nakar. -5 approval. Too damn cold. Alright, 76 is just the best we're going to be able to do. Research is coming down pretty fast, even without us having that building. Okay, Gonos settled. So there's that approval boost for us for a little while. Oh, I can't merge them. We don't have enough command points to run 2 medium ships in a fleet. That's a little embarrassing. Black markets have always existed in dense urban centers within the Empire. As long as they're monitored and kept under control, they have their uses. Criminal elements can be kept busy, hidden taxes can be skimmed, and interesting contraband can be smuggled into the nation for the leadership's pleasure. However, black markets for illegal firearms is another matter, especially when it enables enemy civilizations to get their hands, tentacles, or other appendages on some of the Empire's most effective weaponry. The unfortunate truth is that some of your undercover security forces have unearthed compelling evidence that a gun smuggling ring is operating out of 3 of your systems. The leader is suspected to be the nephew of Duke Groltz, a bad apple with a history of criminal activity. What do we do about this? Well, reach 60 approval on Cert, Orm, and Gonos, or assign heroes of at least level 5. This is going to take so much longer to do. You know, we'll pay Duke Groltz a visit, make sure he understands the stakes, and this little venture can help sow unrest in our enemies' ranks. We just need to make sure everybody's chill. So Cert, Orm, and Gonos have to go to 60 approval. We're probably over that, right? With the big boost from the new colony rule. Yeah, so that'll complete. Pretty happy about how things are going for us on the whole here, if I'm being honest. This world has a pretty solid food output, so like let's just get the basics going. Yeah, we'll build those. Do I want to buy these? I don't have a good sense of the cost of the trade subsidiary off the top of my head. We're only talking about a couple of turns. You know what? I'm gonna buy those. Let's just get this system like moving right away. Doesn't make any sense to build epigenetics crop seeding, but honestly, intensive cultivation logistics is 10 food right away. Not nothing. Xeno-industrial infrastructure and public-private partnerships are both pretty weak here. Still, industry. Yeah, let's put that in next. Industry's important. Okay, so the pirates have 750 manpower here. We have 600 between the 2 ships. However, we can improve the strength of our infantry, and we probably should. Let's get those upgrades at least. And then I'm going to go ahead and launch the assault here, because we can take advantage of the firepower of our ships and stuff, you know. Employ some preemptive bombing. I have no doubt we will win this. It's going to take a minute, but we'll get there. So yeah, they lost over 40 manpower while we lost under 15. Just do that a couple of times and we're all good. We need some basic military research. We should have enough command points to be able to run those ships together. Okay, so I don't... It's not actually under siege, it looks like, for some reason. I wonder if the Vultures are working with the pirates. You don't see that happen very often. But I would expect to see the siege indicator if... very strange. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Oh, right. So I was going to talk about the government situation. We got to get the scientist party into our government. I think the way we do that might be by swapping our government type. So, a move to a democracy, I think, is maybe a good idea for us. Get an extra political party in the Senate. If we could end up industrialist, ecologist, scientist, that would actually be pretty good for us. And I don't think that the positive effects of running a federation are really giving us a lot of value. We don't have any ability to influence the election in a democracy, but this is not what I want to be spending influence on anyway. And, you know, I like a lot of the stuff here. So, we have to have an empire-wide approval level of at least 50, and we have to have 700 influence to push the change. I think we can make those things happen. Alright, they're well under their threshold now. Got ourselves some free compact warp methods, which is maybe not exactly what I would have chosen. But, you know, hey, free technology, you can't complain too much. The local populations were beginning to mobilize against the illegal gun shops in their midst when you discovered them, but since your fake crackdowns, the protests have died away. Now, with the gun smuggling operations truly underground, it's time to flog inferior arms and make some quick dust. You know, real good guy shit. we're doing that good guy hero stuff. Alright, single pirate ship, not really a danger. Gonos is doing what Gonos needs to do. And we're making some very slow headway over here. Yeah, wow. That's that modifier's really building up. Still taking a pretty harsh modifier from the Vultures on account of our score being low. You know, game score. It is what it is. It's not really super relevant to anything. Alright, so we knock out Gistrad. The thing is, if we knock out Gistrad and then we don't settle it, it's probably just going to end up becoming a pirate base again, which obviously I don't love. But I don't want to settle it either, because it's a tiny little system of crummy planets. The Adamantian might be reason enough, honestly. Alright, let's just keep the bombardment up. I see no reason to fight fair. And then next turn we've got him, right? Yeah. Should be the case. Plus 20 approval on systems, and also plus 10%. Ooh, a bunch of pacifist support, though. That might complicate things a little bit. Alright, so I want to install a backdoor on Mira, right? Also, stealing technology sounds like a good idea. Look at all the stuff they know. Oh, that's very interesting. So, we could learn autonomous construction, get tanks and a little bit of extra command point room in our fleets. That's definitely compelling. They have a lot of military tech we don't have. They have crust engineering already. That's concerning. They're actually quite developed. Extreme atmospherics is also pretty interesting. Neural robotics is pretty good for us. The predictive logistics structure obviously is great, and we already have a source of adamantium. Are we on the planet that has the adamantium? Yes, we are, and our miner seeding is 2 turns from completion. I think we probably want to take neural robotics here. That's a very, very good technology for us. And now we have a back door installed there, but I think we want to just hack that again because I think we want to steal all of their technology. I think that's how we're going to play a little bit of catch-up here. So the back door, in addition to allowing us to start a hack, gives plus 5% hacking speed on adjacent nodes. I'm assuming that it does not count itself, because the word adjacent, you know, usually doesn't... I don't know. Our hack might be 5% faster here. I'm not sure. And we're running a trace back from Veni to Gistrad, I'm sure, is where the trace is going to end. Turns out pirates like to hack me. We have absolutely no reason not to reauthorize the amoeba boost. I would really like it if we could get those amoebas breeding. And do we want to buy Graviton Research? Or do I want to try to save... I probably want to try to save influence for the Trade Company HQ. I want to get that Trade Company established. But we're not going to be able to run it until we either make peace with the Vultures or get them to leave Nos. I guess we could put the subsidiary on Orm instead. Obviously, it would be better for it to be on Cert, but maybe that's where we'll put the subsidiary for the second company. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just let Graviton Research finish the old-fashioned way here. Oh, right, and also I was going to change our government. I'm a little worried now that we had that change in pacifist political support. I'm a little worried that the scientists would not win the post-upheaval election, that they wouldn't make top 3. And obviously I would really like it if they made top 3. Alright, pirate base gone. We got some drift buds, I'm assuming? Yes, we got some drift buds and some trees. Also, they spawned a ship as they died, which really should not have tried to attack us. Not a good decision. Okay, that has come to an end. Mitri is going to grab Blue Sky Speculator, I think? Yeah. Just a nice big flat science boost. And we're going to trade company subsidiary right here with the quickness. That's going to considerably boost our influence output, remember, because of the fact that we have this thing. And there's no way Dimitri is not going to be in the Senate. Here on Nusicon, it turns out we're going to be building predictive logistics in a lot of places now, and we're going to need to probably spend a fair amount of influence doing that. But some of these systems don't really have the ability to finish a building that's that expensive on their own. Insert, yes, this would be a lovely thing to have here. We desperately need it. We just have a pretty low industry empire as a whole. I think we can probably let the Optics Research Lab finish here because there's only 2 planets and they're not even really that good. Okay, where's our science output at now? 861, so it's more than doubled over just the course of this video, and that's before we build any Graviton laboratories. We started up slow here, but we are building wide quickly. It looks like they may have buzzed off of Nos. But we need to go back to Orm and refill our manpower. You can see both the ships are a little lower than we would like. We'll refill from the Empire manpower pool, then take the manpower over to Nos and do pretty much the same thing. And then we'll actually settle Nos. We're only a turn or 2 away from getting the dust boost of this, which will be enough to make the Empire solvent, but we're also going to have trade company income coming in real soon here. We should probably get modernization going everywhere, right? And then Gonos still only has 1 point of population. It's coming around. I mean, there's not a ton we can do about it, actually. Yeah. Get some of those basics done. Alright, so we just need to chill around Orm for a minute here to get a refill. Yeah, in fact, both of the ships will be completely full on manpower at the beginning of the next turn, which is great. And we've pushed up into the next science tier. So, Dimensional Folding has a pretty good building attached to it. This building does require antimatter, but we're pretty close to having a source of antimatter. I guess there's not a lot of point in researching that before extreme atmospherics, though. And with extreme atmospherics plus one more... Well, hold on. How long are we from that hack? The hack out to Mira is 8 turns. So 4 turns to get extreme atmospherics, then 4 turns to get... I don't even know what else. Probably maximized exploitation, actually. Because we do have lava planets in some of our... at least one of our systems already. And then shortly after this, we'll finish... They probably have something in this science tier. That's probably what we'll try to steal from them. We'll do this so that we can get our habitation and resources going, and also the next level of system development. We do have some things I would like to do there in that region. We can also just steal military tech from them, because we do kind of need military tech, especially if we're still thinking we might have to end up fighting the Vultures. So now the question is, do we go for that government change? We're back. We built the amount of influence we need back up. I think it would be pretty good for us. It's going to be way easier to get the scientists into the government if we have 3 parties in, but we probably won't get them right away. So when we switch governments, what's going to happen is we're going to lose all of our laws. And the government's going to go into anarchy for 5 turns, I believe. Oh, I don't have xenoanthropology. Why do they make that screen... Why don't they, like, darken this a little bit? If you don't have the tech, so that it's more obvious you don't have the tech. Well, the good news is, xenoanthropology is not that hard to get, and it's actually a tech that's great for us, because the National Museum's a good building. So why don't we make that our next priority? I believe when we hit the switch government button, the government will go into a panic for 5 turns, and then our new government will be set up, and we'll hold an immediate election. And then we'll still have the normal elections occurring on turns that are a multiple of 20. So we'll have an election on turn... Right now it's looking like turn 75, and then another one on turn 80. And if one of those elections is able to get the scientist party in charge, then we can move our faction quest forward a little bit. I'm surprised we didn't complete the living plague thing. Oh, we also have to get industry up. I was looking at it as just a science increase, but yeah, we were not at 272 industry. Okay, so predictive logistics will get us there. I'm not too worried about that. Oh hey, and Nakar 1 does in fact have a moon. Well, that's cool. So we have access to the moon base here. Do we actually want to have people on Nakar 1? Obviously, I want to maintain our rate of population growth. I mean, maybe we don't mess with it. Maybe it's fine right now. We're getting stuff built relatively quickly. We have enough food that we're producing new citizens and stuff. Yeah, it's fine. I'm probably just going to leave it for the moment. Okay, here might be a good idea to build some industry stuff, because we're desperate. We don't really have a lot of good options. I guess it's going to be predictive logistics, but man, that's going to take a while and not be that valuable when it's finished. Both of you head down to there. They are losing a war. Do we know who they're fighting? They were fighting the Sophons. It did not go well for the Sophons. I believe this icon indicates the Sophons are paying them every turn. So they're not at war with any of the people we know. That doesn't really tell me a whole lot about the galaxy, unfortunately. The fact that we don't know where the Riftborn are means we can't deduce anything about the positions of their warring neighbor, which is a little bit of a shame. Alright, we're 13% of the way toward having another group up, and we're already producing, you know, something. Obviously, stuff's going to grow over time, and the more trade companies we have, the faster they will grow. But I'm fairly confident that we founded the trade company early enough that it will develop into a fair moneymaker. It will never be quite what it was in the game, the economic game that we won, because I'm not going to pump the resources into it. I think we can just do the same thing right here, right? And we should probably start building a colony ship, because we know that we want to take this this system. Academy secondments are coming to an end. Ooh, this is a rough event. My feeling on this is that we really can't afford to lose 30 industry on all of our colonies right now while we're building the important industry buildings that are going to push us into the next stage. So we probably have to take this option. Wow, Kappa just straight up wants to ally with me. I don't think that's a good idea. There's way too much unknown involved in that. Wait, what's my actual count? 1913. So we could buy xenoanthropology now and start the government changeover, or we could bank the influence for buying these buildings. My inclination is to just get the government changed over. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, that cost was not actually quite what I thought it was. It took 6 more industry, or 6 more influence than we could afford for it to take. And for 10 terms, keep Orm clear of enemy ships, which we immediately failed. The second the quest popped, the Riftborn flew a ship through Orm's airspace. Well, that's an annoying thing to have happened. You guys may as well come down here and help. You could provide a little bit of extra manpower. And Orm is definitely building itself a national museum. Can never have enough. We should probably worry about the laboratories first, because we are winning this already, right? We are already pushing them back. We'll be pushing them back a lot harder in a little while, though. Alright, let's flip that government. Also, we finally completed the first step of that plague ship quest, and we received impactless sites. Okay, not exactly what I was looking for. So that means that we don't necessarily need extreme atmospherics, or maximized exploitation then. I mean, I do like it. The fact that we don't have a lot of hot worlds and we don't have a lot of sterile worlds definitely makes it less critical. We do want to finish atmospherics, but maybe we'll wait on this. Alright, go ahead and do that thing. That is proceeding pretty much as planned. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have one of the battleships go back and refill. We can just truck a bunch more Empire manpower into this battle. There's no reason for us to not overwhelm them. Still not into that. After analyzing the core, you learn that the aliens' homeworld was attacked. You know, we've seen the quest before. So, there's an intercept thing and a set a trap thing. Here's the deal. I just don't like fighters at all. I don't think fighters are any good. Bombers can be good. They're not the greatest weapons in the world, but when you get to the late stage battles and you're fighting a lot of large enemies, sometimes you want a bomber. I've never, ever wanted a fighter. And maybe that would be less the case. Maybe that would be less true if the AI built more bombers of their own, because fighters are pretty good at shooting down bombers. The thing is, even if you're in that situation, bullet weapons are also good at shooting down bombers. You don't really need fighters for that. Okay. Government. This time, I mean it. We're changing things up. Anarchy period of 5 turns. We'll lose our laws. It's not ideal. Things are going to be weird and difficult for a little while. You know, just a small amount of anarchy. Once 5 turns have passed, a government of the type democracy will be established. Your laws have been abolished. We'll get a new election. And I think that election should probably not hold any great surprises for us. One thing that is okay about the period of anarchy is it means that we're just getting our full influence straight into the purchase pool. We don't have to worry about the costs of running laws anymore, so, you know, that's something. That's cool. The car was compromised. Wow, somebody ran a hack all the way out to the capital. Interesting. I'm not too concerned about it. The capital's very happy. The capital was exactly at 100%. Sleeper reintegration is not totally ideal, but I think let's go ahead and run this. We'll drop the capital's approval for 5 turns just to make sure that no sleepers have been installed, but there's a lot of things that can happen when someone hacks your capital. So what is the population on CERT right now? As much as I want more points of influence, I think we'd be fools not to take Optimal Operations Expert on the system that's probably going to end up producing most of the ships for the Vulture War if we end up warring with the Vultures, which I still think we probably will. And you, congratulations on your 2nd point of population. Let's get a supermarket up, and then we'll figure out other stuff later. Okay, you have refilled your manpower, so go back down there and rejoin the battle, ferrying in new troops. And in fact, we can send the other battleship to go and do that. I don't want to leave just the scouts in place, because who knows what kind of shenanigans, who knows what kind of ships might show up from the dark. But as long as we have a battleship in position to play defense, I think it's fine. So I'm hopeful, because of the fact that we've researched a couple of scientist laws in quick succession, and we've picked a couple of scientist-based quest options, I'm hopeful that when we come back, when our government comes back and we have the election, we'll be able to get the scientists in. We only need them to be in for, like, a moment, just long enough to run one law for one turn. We no longer have cheat costs, so Hire Spies does literally nothing for us except maybe make things terrible, so let's just arrest the spies. And here we absolutely want a national museum. What a good move. The moon base is pretty good. The graviton shielded laboratories are slightly better. But, like, this is excellent. We have a very, very good set of things coming up here. Still not interested in this. We can also explore the moon. It's phrased as counteract the effect of a negative anomaly, but it's just you get a little bit of loot. It's like searching a curiosity. So do I want to put this? I really want to get the National Museum finished. Obviously, like, it's very good here. We can put that right there. Maybe it'll be a bit of loot that's worth having. And then whose Yuri will get good here eventually. This gives +1 population slot only on the sterile worlds, which is not something we really need yet. Yeah, I think this is a reasonable set of things. I'm still leery of starting one of the wonder buildings because I'm worried that the AI will already be working on it, but man, maybe we could. Maybe Nakar could just build all of the good stuff. You know what? Let's make that the next thing. I'm going to put both of these in the queue. And we'll just maybe pump some influence into them. If the AI is just if the AI is not going to take them, if they're just going to let me have them. There's an interesting game of chicken that happens with those, right? Where, like, the person who gets to them really early, obviously it's right for that guy to start them, but then because if you get to them late, you don't know if other people are already working on them. It becomes so hard to know whether it's worth it for you to work on them. Alright, can we have Orm take a break from what it's doing and just make me a settler really quickly? We received 1.2k dust and also 8 antimatter and also a little bit of a typesetting bug. I'm going to leave one of the battleships around Nos just to make it clear that this is not free territory. This is land that is owned by the United Empire, and I know that it's not orange yet. That's a clerical error. Just trust me. This is UE. Okay, and then... So we're not spending influence right now. I think I'm going to influence rush the Endless Research Park, to be perfectly honest with you. It's wild to me that we're producing enough influence and that it's this late in the game that, like, it's wild to me that that's even a possibility. Because it really, really shouldn't be. Alright, we made it to Mira. I think we are just going to steal some more technology from them. So what do we want? Multi-thread management isn't too bad, but we should probably try to take a science thing. So, like, evaporation inhibitors. Is that in the tier that we just finished? It is in the tier that we just finished. It does, however, make more curiosities available, which I like. Was autonomous materials on the list? No, autonomous construction is. Autonomous materials would be useful for revealing the wormholes, but I think we'll just take the science tech. Or maybe I'm best off grabbing... Or was it? They had the Quadradix mining tech, right? Maybe I'm best off grabbing that. Just because it's the highest tier thing available. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Still not interested. Okay, this time around, the Academy wants dust. That's not going to be that hard for us to participate in. I know we don't make a ton of dust, but we do make a ton of resources. So we might well be able to get in on that. Alright, at this point, get me Veni 3. We're buffing up all of those per planet buildings. And then probably it's a good time to start expanding our science structures a little bit more. We have access to our level 2 system development. So we have a lot of options here. We're bringing in a fair few resources that I do actually like, but we also have access to the market, and we have a pretty healthy portfolio of tradables. So if there's something on the market that there's a lot of that I want, we could just do that thing, right? We could just purchase stuff. To be perfectly honest, though, I do like the idea of Eden Incense plus hydromiel. We don't mine the hydromiel very quickly, and actually that's true of the Eden Incense as well. We're not actually making drift buds. We could cut the hydromiel for deciduous trees instead. I think I'm inclined to do it this way, though. We'll make it work. So let's get some level 3 system developments going. How short are we on the blossoms? So next turn we'll have 58. If we can buy 17 off the market, which we can, then we can put this in the queue next turn after the settler is completed and just push even harder here. And then we'll keep upgrading systems to level 3 as that becomes available to us. And I think at this point we're back to this kind of stuff. So we have the appropriate mining tech. We're not actually bringing in the antimatter, but we will be very soon. So I think this is an okay time to go for dimensional folding. It's not a cheap tech. Oh, also, yeah, I should be hacking. You're right. Good point. Somebody ran a hack through Orm, or to Orm, perhaps. My guess is through Orm. Although it's interesting that it came from down here, so that could be the Sophons routing it in a funny way to try to increase the time of the traceback, but it also could be the pirate base on Libra, right? Once we have Nos's outpost established, we'll maybe send the pirates down to Libra and deal with that situation. I don't see any reason to allow that to stand. Let's go ahead and accelerate and maybe even overload. A diversion doesn't really... yeah, let's do that. Okay. Is it a good deposit? Ooh, no, it is a 1-point deposit, so antimatter is going to be a tough thing for a while. It looks like the Sophons are maybe going to deal with that pirate base on their own. Maybe they don't even need my help. Okay, we were not the first to do that thing, that's fine. Here comes the democracy. Population boost has ended, we have the ability to create a new trading company. You see how I immediately assumed that it was the Riftborn. Went down there to dismiss their attempt to be... their attempt to invite them into our alliance. So, Red is talking about making friends, about the pressures that they are feeling. Yep, because they've gone to war with the Sophons. This is an important moment in this game. The decision we make here about whose side we want to be on is going to have echoes. I think right now we should probably grab... Actually, I guess there's only one fleet skill that's relevant at this point, so we could put another 2 points into governing skills. He's on Orm, huh? Pioneering Spirit is fine. We're going to leave him there for a little while yet. On Gonos, we have... Okay, we have some decent population growth. It's coming along. Do I want to throw down intensive cultivation, or do I still want to keep... You know what, at this point, interplanetary transport network is starting to get pretty okay. Alright, let's have a look at our government. We currently have no... Right, the election. We have to wait for an election to happen, I'm pretty sure. Okay, either Nusicon or Veni needs to create a new trading company. I think we don't want to rush this. I mean, once we have the predictive logistics in place... Ooh, there's a subterranean curiosity here. How hard would it be to just buy that out? Oh, that's... yeah. Alright, I was debating potentially flying a ship back for that. So that's going to turn out to be a strategic resource, almost certainly. That might be a really good one for us. Okay, you get over here. So yeah, we'll build another trade company, headquarters on Nusicon, and then this time we'll put the subsidiary on Cirta, and then we'll have two good trade company routes that run basically the entire length of the Empire. That's going to be real strong for us. Alright, this political survey says the militarists are very popular. And it does not put the scientists in the top 3. Be lying if I said I was happy about that one. Alright, let's run one more turn here in this video. So I'm going to throw my official support behind the scientist party. And that's all we can do. Fingers crossed, everyone. See how much that matters to the people of the Empire. Looks like not very much. Are the scientists going to come in last in the election? They are, aren't they? Oh no, I think they beat... I think they edged out these two. But it looks like they might have beat the religious. Yes. Okay, cool. So we got a scientist law, which means that we can move our faction quest forward. Hooray! But I'm not super happy with our Senate overall. Libra's hacking... Okay, it was the pirates. Obviously, just shut the hack down. You fools. We discovered Quadronix. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, that's not the one of those that we know how to mine. But still, it's cool to have one of those advanced resources available to us already. So, the Dust Windfall Law, back in effect. 10% of any industry spent for construction is converted into dust. That's the primary way that we've been remaining barely solvent over the course of the game. Let's see, where are we putting down here? Well, there is an ice planet with a dense enough atmosphere to grow crops on over there. Or we could just go straight to the Arctic. I think we're just going to put straight down on the Arctic planet. The fact is, all of these planets are kind of garbage as far as growth goes, but this means that we're immediately getting the antimatter. Alright, so let's have a quick look at our new government screen before we end the video here. Obviously, we're going to need some help. I'm just going to go ahead and start sending ships that have 126 food in them. So the amount of food that a planet sends to that a system sends to another fledgling system is based on the food output of the sending system. Cert is so good at producing food now that it has all of this surplus to share. So actually, I don't think there's any point in spending any resources at all here. 2 colony ships is going to be enough. Like Cert's got this under control. We could spend some influence here to double the food payout of Cert and get this established even faster, but I don't think we really need to. And as soon as you have an outpost on a resource planet, you're mining the resource. You don't have to actually get to a colony. So there's also no reason for us to push super hard to get that done. I think we'll just let that complete as it gets completed by Certa. And then we probably have to leave some ships in place. I'm going to put the 2 patrol ships here. We have to leave some ships in place so that the enemy ships can't blockade. And by enemy, I mean everybody else. And then I'm going to have the battleships move on Libra. I thought for a minute there the Sophons were going to take care of it, but the fact is the AI just does not bother to clean up their backyard. It's always going to be on us to do it. Alright, Orm's gonna have that done next turn, so let's... How close are we to this? Not close enough. And then we're building the technology center. I can't believe that those things went unclaimed for so long. Alright, let's have a look at our new government. So we have some options here. Obviously, we need to be running one scientist law, and I like the Dirty Hands Act a lot for that purpose. We might want to run the new colony rule, since we are about to finish a new colony. Just have this up for a little while. We probably don't want to put this up until the turn before the new colony gets popped, though, because the 20% bonus food is going to do nothing, you know, plus 20% of 6 food per turn. We probably do want to run Mineral Misers. It's getting more expensive. Our population has really risen, but I think I like it. Especially for what the capital's doing right now. And then I think we might leave the other slot empty. That's where we'll put the new colony rule once it becomes sensible to do that thing. But our Empire population is flourishing. Our science per turn is rising very rapidly. We're still building a lot of essential science structures. Like, the first couple of videos of this game were very much us just spreading out, getting that foundation laid over a broad area, and now we're actually building up over it. And you can see how effective that is. Like, we haven't really, in the games in this series and as a whole, really, haven't had both opportunity and ability to spread wide the way we were able to at the beginning of this game. I think it's going to end up producing a really impressive empire. It just takes a while to get going. And we are at 7 of 8 colonized star systems. The system that we have an outpost on right now is not counted in this number, so that's going to put us exactly at our colonization threshold, which is fine. That does make me want to not settle on Gistrad even more than I already didn't. Honestly, though, these planets are not so bad. I don't know. We'll consider it. It would only be a tight approval hit to go 1 over the colonization threshold, and it might be worth it for the extra source of adamantium. I don't know. That's something I can think about tonight. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, tomorrow, to see if maybe we do end up at war with our neighbors, or maybe we collapse all these hostilities into one big happy family. And we'll see you then.